All right, so in terms of what we're doing for 3.8, please make sure to fill out the do now. That is the link for it. Please make sure to fill this out. This is what it looks like. That is 20% of your grade. This is the connection part of class. This is going to be part of a discussion. Keep in mind that a composite in photo editing is like a composite in math. It's made up of various parts or elements, almost like a collage. The image on the right is a composite image. Our potato head pictures were a great example as well. Our street art is going to be made as a composite picture. So we have already filled out that Google form. If you have not done so, please do so, the one from Tuesday 3/2. That is going to be very beneficial in terms of brainstorming. Today, our goal is to download a picture of a wall, download images, might as well say images, images to go on your wall, come up with at least 2 images to use. I would recommend adding multiple images on it together to make it a true composite, with the option to add text to get your point across. You're going to open it in Photopea, move it around, and then you're going to tag your work by signing your name somewhere on it, and you're submitting your PNG and PSD files on Google Classroom by 6. Keep in mind, this is our rubric, so for today, we are focusing on include one wall background picture and 2 images on it with optional additional photos and text, and the concept shown in images matches concept described in your Google form. So keep those in mind. That is your goal for today, and that will help you meet your rubric. Weird additions. So I did some research on the Chromebooks, and as it turns out, if you're on a Chromebook, they wipe your downloads every night unless they're added to your Google Drive. Because we're going to be working on this assignment for a few classes, here's the solution. Regardless of whether you use a Chromebook or not, you are doing this step. So at the end of today's class, when you upload your work on Google Classroom for me to see, you're going to upload 2 images in that space. One image will be your PNG, what you would normally upload. One image will be your PSD, but you usually don't upload. We're going to do this so that next time we work on these, you have your PSD saved and still editable. You have it uploaded and accessible, and you can just download it directly from your Google Classroom. Keep in mind, tomorrow is going to be a critique day. That means you need to be finished with your assignment and upload it onto Google Classroom on time, as those are points you will not be able to make up. One last thing, looking over and giving feedback to those of you who filled out the Google form, keep in mind that it might be frustrating, upsetting, making you feel angry or sad while you look through different images for today. So keep in mind your own mental health. If you need to take a break for a minute, just shoot me a message in the chat saying I'll be back in a minute and let me know when you get back. If you need to just take a minute to watch a mindfulness video, just kind of breathe and reground yourself, I have a video here as a resource. So what we're going to do with all of that in mind, we're going to click on this link to choose a background, to choose a wall that our street art is going to go on top of. So you keep in mind, this is just like that pizza access folder. You must be signed in with your PA Scholars email to access the folder. You're going to choose your favorite and click on it. So let's go to Banksy Wall Images. If it's not showing up at the bottom of your screen where it tells you what account you're signed in with, make sure that it's your PA Scholars one or it will not show up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose the one that I like the most. Actually kind of vibing off of this one right now, or not. I kind of like this one. You're going to choose one that you like, and in the top right corner, what you can do is either click this little download button if you see it. If you do not see it, if you click on the 3 little dots, it should have the download button there. So either it'll be there or there. So now that I have it downloaded, I see it in my downloads bar. Going back here, go to Photopea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to even open this in a new window so I can just move this over so I can look at the slides and I can look at Photopea at the same time. This is something I highly recommend if you have not used that before. All right, so I'm on Photopea, like it says, click File, click Open, click on the picture of the wall that you just downloaded. And you go to my downloads. Cool. So think about what you said you wanted to use as your theme and what images it brings to mind. Don't just put a picture of a flag and call it done. Think about how street artists use metaphors to make you think about something. I've been thinking a lot about our justice system, and I might even do a slightly different example, but I'm not sure yet. So you can refer back to your Google form from independent practice from last week. If you submitted your form on time, I left you feedback on your concept as well so that you can refer back to that and get some ideas. So what you're going to do, you have 5 minutes to find the images you want to use, either using Google or unsplash.com. Aim for at least 2 different images, but like you're probably going to want like more than 2, and you want it to be interesting. Try to avoid images with giant watermarks over on top of it. And when you find an image you like, you know what to do. Click on it, then right click and click Save Image As. Move on, download any other pictures you want. You also have the option, if you want to draw any designs yourself on paper, with pencil, with marker, with paint, any other materials you have, you can. Draw it and then take a picture of your drawing, either with your phone or with your computer. Email it to yourself if it's on your phone so you can open it on your computer, and then insert it into Photopea. So that is another option you have. So I am going to go with a slightly different concept for this one. So what I'm going to search, I'm going to go to Unsplash actually. I'm going to work off of that. And I am going to search. Like I have an idea in mind, but I want to just kind of get some ideas. Okay, none of these are doing anything for me. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to Google. And I was kind of inspired by the by that Gorilla Girls picture. So I'm going to search female statue. All right. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, this is giving me some ideas. Birth of Venus. I have an idea now. And what I am gonna do is I'm going to actually take one of these images of the birth of Venus, right click, save image as, and I'm gonna search cell phone. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually make it look like she's on her phone taking a selfie. So that way it's like the male gaze, but like changing it, cell phone. So you're gonna literally take 5 minutes, use Google, use Unsplash, use whatever you want, save the images that you want. I'm gonna have it like men looking at her. See, like this is what I'm talking about with the big watermarks that you want to avoid. No, thank you. I can work with that. Cool. So I have a bunch of these saved. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it into Photopea. For the ones that you want to just get rid of their background, you'll do open in place and you'll do Magic Cut. So I'm gonna do that on Photopea right now for the birth of Venus. So file, open in place. And let's choose the birth of Venus. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. And I actually only want her. So I'm gonna do select and then Magic Cut. You guys know it's gonna take a hot second to load. What on earth? All right, I'm gonna click on the red. I'm gonna make my size bigger. And I'm gonna get rid of all this background. I might keep the shell. I like the shell. Cool. And now I'm gonna go in with my green, and I'm gonna try to be as particular with this and like as much of a perfectionist with this as I can be, because this is something that I really want to be proud of in the end, and I really want to take the time to go in with the details, you know? Remember, if you get that annoying pop-up, you can just ignore it. It doesn't actually make a difference. Right. Like I said, being a little bit of a perfectionist here. Make this a little bit smaller. Cool. All right, now I have most of the background selected. So now I'm gonna just go in with my green to make sure all of the areas that I want to keep are gonna be good. There we go. Let's make that a little bit bigger so I can grab the shell.
That looks pretty good so far. We got a lot of sevens.
Cool. All right, and again, really take the time with this. I'd say like take 5 minutes or so just on each individual picture. And make this really small because this little tiny space is gonna annoy me. Yeah, don't be afraid to zoom in very, very tight. Boop. And just about done. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna hit OK. Anything you need to clean up, you know, you can always go to the eraser tool and clean anything up that you need to. So I'm going to click on my mouse tool, click transform controls, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to also rotate it a little. I'm putting my mouse over that square in the top middle till you see that little frowny face with the arrows. Cool. What I want to do is I'm going to do open to open up that picture of the cell phone. And a really easy way to just select the cell phone is I'm going to actually use the magic wand. I'm going to click on the white of the page. I'm just going to hit delete. Now to select the phone, this is a really cool trick. Right click, click inverse, and that just is going to grab the opposite. So now if I try to move that, look at that, it's so perfect. I'm going to do edit, copy, go back to my Venus, edit, paste. Now let's zoom in a little bit because I want to basically put it in her hand. Remember, if you want to keep the proportions the same while you move something, just hold down the shift key on your keyboard. Cool, cool. I'm going to turn it a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually erase a little bit of the phone. So I want to actually erase the phone where her hand is. So I'm just going to erase on this layer. That's too far. So what I actually like to do is I actually like to keep that layer invisible so I can see the fingers. So that way I can see exactly where her hand is. I'm going to pretend that I put in a little bit more care than that. You guys will put in more care than that. I'm just trying to showcase different things. So now what I'm going to do is file open. I can click on this. Remember, there are multiple ways that you can select something. You can either use the lasso. So if I use the search button, type in lasso, I can spell. I have an English degree. Whoops, wrong one. I want the lasso select. What I can do is I can trace around it. One other thing I can do, because that is a hot mess of a line, here's a tool that you can use. Use the magnetic lasso. So that's just going to help get those sticky little areas. What I like to do is sometimes just click so that way it kind of sets where that line is going to go. but those little squares are kind of like your save points if this were Mario. Sometimes you need to just make sure that it's doing the right way. And to finish it, what you do is you just bring it back to that first square, click on the first square. Cool beans. So I can do edit, copy, edit, paste. So my idea is to kind of make this about gaze and the male gaze. You zoom back out so that way I can see. Oh, that is zoomed all the way out. I see. Okay. Cool beans. Can do file, open in place because I have a couple other pictures. Bless you. And so for each of these, let's go to this one first. Select Magic Cut. And I'm just going to do that really fast. You'll notice the more you do this, the faster you're going to get with this. I'm going to select the next layer, select Magic Cut. Cool. Some of these, it kind of does it for you because it's just some dead space, which is kind of nice. And let's do some of the layer order. I want this guy to be like in the front. So I'm going to just drag him on top. Let's bring him over here. Let's bring this guy down a little bit. So it's kind of like they're crowding her, you know? And this is the last guy that I need to edit. So select Magic Cut. Oh, what happened with that background on top? Oof. That's not what's supposed to happen there. Let's clean that up a little. Oof. There we go. Sometimes these edges just get a little weird. So one thing you can do is click OK. And let's put this. Oh, doesn't that look cool? Like they're all just kind of like crowding around her. And looking back at my slides, it just has some basically what we just said. So I'm going to do is file, save as PSD because it'd be very awkward if it crashed right now. Going to go. I already did this, so moving this around. Keep in mind it should stay on the wall. And so what we can do is now we can add some text. I think that'll help get the point across. So I'm going to click on the T tool. And I'm going to click where I want it. And write who is the gaze. Kind of thinking about the male gaze. So what I'm going to do now, it's kind of small and hard to see. I'm just going to select it, make the size bigger. And what I'm going to do now is play with the font, see what looks the coolest. I've seen some really cool ones with Destroy. My favorite so far, oh, the stencil one is really cool too. I'm going to put this. No, you know what? That's kind of hard to read. So this is why I say, like, have some fun, play around with it, make sure that it's legible. Like, I can't read that. Where is my current favorite? I think it's called Capture 2. You don't have to use this one. That one's also kind of cool. You know what? I'm going to go with this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger again. And if you want to make a new line, just hit enter. One thing that I think is also kind of cool is if you select it, you can click on this button here. So that way it just kind of aligns it. Cool. And then finally, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit my move tool. I'm going to just rotate that a little because it's a little bit too straight and a little bit too perfect, and it's kind of annoying me. All right. And I already have it overlapping. I have some areas overlapping. Sign your name. You can either use the T tool or you can use the brush tool and kind of like draw your signature. You can be using your first name, your first and last name, your nickname, your initials, as long as it's school appropriate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the T tool again. I'm going to click somewhere different, and I'm just going to type MA. I'm going to choose a different font too, because that one's a little bit too like eye-catching. I don't like it to be too intense. I'm okay with that. I'm going to just kind of like sneak that in over there. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Move it a little bit. All right. And we'll save our work. So File, Save as PSD. What did I just click on? File. Oh, I clicked on the wrong. Save as PSD. And now I'm going to do File, Export As. I'm going to hit PNG. That was an uncomfortable close-up, and hit Save. You are uploading both files onto Google Classroom. So that means the PSD I just saved and the PNG. So you need both files there, so that way you can get full credit. Keep in mind, tomorrow is a critique day, so you do need to have this done and ready to go. And then there is the exit ticket.